Well, welcome everyone. Midweek Live, middle of the week, middle of the day. So glad that you have joined us. And I am here with Sally and Dave Jennings. I'm really excited about this. Sally, you actually did pre-service with me a couple weeks ago, and that was just a blast to talk
fun.
About Hamilton and a few
You guys
other
are naturals.
Yes.
Sally's so easy to talk to. So, I mean, I was like, oh gosh, I need to get you in there.
I know.
But we're talking today because you guys just finished kind of your second, I guess really your second go around with Reengage. We're just going to be kicking off second year, but really for you guys, it's like your third. Because as leaders, you guys did this with a smaller group of people during COVID. Actually, 2020. Yeah, you guys did during COVID.
Yeah, we did it over Zoom.
Yeah. And then we kicked off this last Reengage one in January, February, something like that, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's 16 weeks, so whatever 16 weeks ago was.
Yeah. Math, I'm not
I know.
good at, so.
I know. I can't remember.
Thank goodness for calculators.
Yeah.
But we just finished that one up like 2 weeks ago, I think now. And so really, I just thought it'd be great to talk to some of our leaders and get to know you guys as a couple. I know that part of the process on Reengage is you guys share your testimonies. And I know you guys have shared yours, and we've talked a little bit about things in the past. But I thought, wouldn't it be great for everybody to get to know you guys a little bit more. And then, like I said, over the next couple weeks, we'll see some other couples as well. But so how long have you guys been coming to North Point? I asked you this in pre-service, but let's see if you're still right. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, technically, we signed our covenant in September, so but we started in June, so 5 years.
5 years. 5 years
This month,
June,
from our first visit.
Did you guys grow up Christian?
Yes, I did. I was I grew up in Paso Robles,
Really?
2 hours from here, and then so I grew up in a Christian home.
Okay.
Yeah, with both parents. My parents were not believers, but they, as a young married couple, they became Christian. From, believe it or not, the milkman.
What?
Yeah, the milkman led him to Christ. So
So just really quick, for anybody doing that job that just thinks that they don't have an impact on someone's life, you can be a milkman in someone's life in a positive way.
Yeah, in a positive way.
And there is such a thing. There was a milkman.
Yeah. So I grew up in the church. Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, I did not. My family we were a tight-knit family, still are.
Yeah.
Golden rule, but Jesus wasn't part of it.
So some good morals.
Yeah,
maybe.
for sure. Moral, really good family. We're very tight, and we love each other and all that. And but we didn't pray at at meals we didn't pray. We didn't go to church regularly.
Okay.
I think my father was raised Catholic, but that never spilled over into us. So I was just a normal kid.
Yeah.
Not normal. Not that being Christian isn't normal.
What's normal?
Like, whoa, hang on.
I mean, I'm not normal anymore.
Normal. Okay, so when did Christianity enter your world?
My first exposure, I had some friends, Catholic friends and Mormon friends, so there was a little bit of exposure to religion. But my first exposure to Jesus was my cousins became saved, and they started witnessing to me. So,
okay. How old were you in that?
Elementary school.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so pretty.
So that was the first time I'd heard, and then junior high, I started going to a youth group.
Okay, so
it was called Fellowship.
Okay, so you kind of were exposed kind of young.
Early, yeah,
kind of young.
yeah. Just like what we have here with our youth group.
Yeah.
It was the same kind of thing. And I went to a camp and raised my hand and answered an altar call. I didn't really know what I was doing, so it didn't stick. But that was my first experience.
Now, you both got married, but you both got married not to each other.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah. So both of you guys are from divorces, yes?
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when did you guys meet?
We met in 2015.
Okay.
eHarmony.
eHarmony.
Yeah.
That was a tough one because we're not really technical people. Techies that's
You're
not how we grew
found each other.
Yeah.
Is literally a miracle.
It really is. It is because I was living in Ventura County and he was here, and on eHarmony they had these parameters, geographic parameters, and we had both put like 100-mile radius around our boundaries, and they matched us, and I'm like, that's 225 miles. And it's Fresno, and I live at the beach, and there's no way.
Yeah, no, I bet.
You know?
So the true miracle is she lived at the beach, and I got her to Clovis, right?
That is that is a miracle. What the miracle is you've stayed.
I know, right?
Right?
You're like every June, July, August, I do wonder what I'm doing here.
These are the whiny months.
Yeah, no
She
joke,
does, yeah.
No joke.
So-
We all do, even if we were
I
born
know.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys started coming here, and then what was the first thing that you guys like jumped in and got involved in?
So first of all, we didn't start immediately coming to church here. We I've known the Gary and Lynn Cheek for
Okay, yeah,
because
they'll be on in a couple weeks.
Yeah, they'll be on in a couple of weeks. So I knew them from way back when, and so they invited us to a small group, and so we started going to their small group first. So we started doing that first, and then privately, without telling our small group, we just came to church
To visit.
just to
check it
visit,
out.
just to
Okay.
check it out, because we were going to a small church in Clovis.
Yeah.
It was it was a
Yeah.
small church that I needed
Yeah,
at the time
for
through
sure.
through my divorce.
Yeah.
It was a great little church for me, and it was perfect. But once we got married, we were just kind of starting to look around that something for the just for the two of us. So we started looking around a little bit, and then so we came, and so
Yeah.
the first. You want to explain a little bit about the marriage?
Oh, yeah. So we visited on one Sunday, and
Yeah.
we really, really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember leaning over and saying, this is the no excuses church, because there
Oh.
was so many things to get involved in, which was great for us and me, especially since I knew nobody here. I mean, he was it. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And they announced that there was going to be a marriage class, like a study, the next day, starting on that Monday.
Okay.
And so we jumped in. That was with Larry and Margie Hodges.
Oh, wow.
And we immediately fell in love with them.
Yes.
And went through that
Yes.
class and met some other people, and kind of felt like, that's how you really can become connected, because when you start to know people,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then we went through that, and then
Also, the first week, they had the gentleman from Africa.
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel.
Yeah, Emmanuel was there,
Yes.
and she had such a heart for Africa,
Yeah.
and so
And I went, oh my goodness.
We-
And he
we-
was in his Maasai,
Yes.
Yeah.
clothing, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. I love this
Wow.
place. So we've
Wow.
never left.
Wow. We're still here. We're still here. Can't get rid of us.
We're not going anywhere.
Okay, so coming from divorces, was it scary to decide to get married again?
Yeah.
I mean, how long
Yeah.
was that process?
Couple years. For me, it was when I left that situation, it was trust issues. Very big trust issues. So unfortunately, he had to deal with that a little bit. But I had done, me personally, I won't speak for him, but I had done this personal thing with myself where I kind of stayed home. I was living alone. My kids were gone. My daughter had just gone off to college, and I was living alone, and I just stayed home. And my friends were worried because they thought, oh, she's going into isolation and all that. But it was really necessary for me to really get in touch with the Lord and be healed by just being one-on-one with the Lord for a solid year. I mean,
You were
I
still
went to
living-
work
yeah.
and stuff,
Okay,
but
yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
She just meant you didn't have a social presence.
a little bit, but nothing. If it was something that would take me from the goal of getting closer to the Lord, I didn't. It was just really an interesting period.
So did you find the Lord kind of during the divorce process for you, or was it?
No, I had already come
Okay.
come back to Jesus
Right,
or whatever
right.
years before.
Okay, when you were still in your first marriage. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
and he was not. So
Okay.
there was that. But once I was by myself,
Yeah.
then I just,
You wanted to
it
lean
was
in.
a painful thing. So I really leaned into Jesus, and he just scooped me up and
Yeah.
transformed me. So getting back to your original question, I worked through that a lot, and then I met him,
Yeah.
and I had never dated a Christian man before. And so there were, I mean, his heart is pure. I mean, I didn't know what that was. So
Right.
there was a little bit of adjustment with that, but he's super patient. And so I don't know about you.
For me, because I was married to, my previous marriage, we were both Christians, but we did the going to church thing, and that was about it. You know, our walks weren't really strong. We went through the motions. We raised our kids in the church, but our relationships with Christ weren't very strong. Once the divorce started to happen, I had a decision to make. I thought I could either blame God or I could run to God. So I chose to run to God. So everything I did, rather than blame her, which I could have easily done because of the choices that she made, I chose instead to run to God and work on myself. So I spent some time really digging deep.
So kind of the same thing she's talking about.
Yeah.
I think
And that's what allowed us that separate time. We didn't even know each other then, of course.
Yeah.
But and then it took a process of knowing that there was a time that I needed to. I started praying about my next wife, you know, and God, what I wanted to see in my next partner, you know, and I wanted somebody that had a deep love for the Lord. And one of my probably more selfish things was I wanted somebody that we had a lot in common with.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh,
Yeah.
we have a lot in common. You know, you
Yeah.
know. So it's just, you know, the Lord really blessed us, and you know, so.
So I have to just interject on the praying thing. I did the same thing, and but for a while, getting remarried was not in the cards until till the healing happened, and then the Lord started to push me a little bit in that way, I guess, and my friends. But I started praying, and we talk about prayer, you being specific in prayer, and this is going to sound weird. You know, I obviously wanted a solid Christian man, but I also said, well, and can you make him really tall and maybe somebody that I won't ever outweigh? And I'd like a man with calloused hands, a working man.
Yes.
And
oh my goodness.
I mean,
that's so funny.
Calloused hands, tall,
The
and
scripture says, to tell the Lord the desires of your heart, right?
man, he delivered.
Wow.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So what were some of the struggles? What's some struggles you guys? I mean, you would think after a divorce. I'm having divorced. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You would think after a divorce, you step into a marriage again, and I don't know. Do you work really hard to not? How is it
To
like,
not get divorced?
Well, definitely not get divorced. But you might be so very aware maybe of your own shortcomings, or you see all those maybe flags that were there before. Is there like a lot of fear and disagreements and arguments, and what's the struggle?
Well, so we don't really have any struggles. I mean, we've got little things, but we always talk about because we've been through a pain that you can't even imagine. Like taking out the trash, big deal. Yeah. He didn't take out the trash, I'm going to take it out. Right. There are things that we
let things go.
We
don't let things bother because of going through a previous divorce,
and knowing that the little things can really become big things. We let all the little stuff go, and we don't sweat that stuff. But also, we are very, very committed to doing the Lord's will in our marriage. And if it's something that's not pleasing to the Lord, we just, sometimes it's hard, but we just don't do it, period. Yeah. We're very disciplined there.
Yeah, and I think that we both understand being fact that from marriages that didn't have God as the center, we both understand that Christ has to be the center of our marriage, and not only of our marriage, but as individuals. And so we really work hard on putting God the center of our personal relationships.
Yeah.
Do you
And
feel like it's almost easier the fact that you've both walked through a divorce?
Yes.
So like, there's
Easier.
couples that, in other words, there's couples that like for the one person it's their first marriage, and for the other person coming to it, it's their second. And so because you both had a previous one, your mindset and your efforts towards this one are the same because you know what it's cost you in the past.
As far as us being on the same page,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
But
for sure.
I mean, do you you guys worked at divorce care? You guys did divorce care
Yeah.
at North Point as
Yeah.
well. Would you say that is? I mean, because I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm speaking to something we don't know about, but
right. I went through the divorce. When I went through my divorce, I went through the divorce care program myself, and that was a huge part of my healing process.
Yeah.
Sally did not. She wasn't aware of the divorce care. So when we led the divorce care ministry here at the church, it was a little bit of a struggle for her just going, not only leading it, but going through it and rehashing some stuff that she, and I'll let her explain a little bit why it was a little bit of a struggle for her.
Yeah. Well, I'm much more emotional, and I get, and I know what they're going through. And divorce care, it was difficult because people are so raw.
Yeah.
And it's real.
Does it bring up or is it the empathy?
It's
You're
more
just,
of an empathy thing because
that.
I totally know where they're at, and we all, we just want to tell them that Jesus is your answer. If you just listen, we've all been in that situation where we're like, Jesus is the answer, just listen. But they're so broken and they're in such a raw place that they can't hear. Yeah. So it's really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a good season of time to go through divorce care in that way?
So it's we noticed like at about halfway through the program, because that's a 13-week program.
Okay.
At about halfway through, you can see people starting to a little bit of a ray of hope coming, and so that we just it's that part that we're like, yes, you can see that they're receiving some hope and some healing. So that in that regard, it was great. Yeah.
Can you look? I mean, it's hard. Can you look back on your past, previous marriage, and everything else, and see God working? Like, even in that difficulty, even in the times that were hard, can you view it I understand in the moments, they're overwhelming, they're hard, they're real. I mean, it's difficult to even breathe when we're going through hard stuff. But can you look back on it in a different way?
Yeah, I can see God through my whole life. I just went through school, and one of the exercises we had to do was make I don't remember what it was called, but it was a board of our life, and we had to do these sticky notes in chunks of time and go back over it and kind of, piece together your life. And there was one period in my life that I called the rebellious years.
Okay.
I was blatantly
I feel
rejecting.
like we all have those.
Yeah, blatantly rejecting Christ, and
Yes.
I was like not having any part of it. And what I came out of that exercise with was during those years, he was more present on my mind, even though I was rejecting him and so mad at him, and so that's not for me. But he was more present on my mind at that time than ever in my whole life, and that was long before I started to come back to Christ. And I went, wow. All this time I'm trying to get rid of him.
And he got closer
he's like,
when I was like pushing him away.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's kind of good at that.
Yeah, it's a specialty.
Yes.
It's almost this, back in those days, it's almost the setup for where you are today.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like he has to take you through because for me, going through that divorce and taking me through those hard times is put me where I am today.
Yeah.
So,
given maybe a
That's for sure.
perspective of like understanding maybe what a valley really does look like, but
Absolutely.
it also gives you then the heights of
so there's hope.
Yeah.
For even though you're at such a bottom and you don't see, the heights of where you can get to and where you can be, that kind of thing. So
what's the hardest part of this marriage, this one you're in right now?
She brought up something because she brought up something last night, and I was like, "This is."
Are you gonna get emotional? Go ahead.
Can we go there? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Is just the fact that she has 2 kids. And I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
Is bringing them together at times.
Well, logistically they're all over the place, but we've got 2 broken families,
Yeah.
and we had a hand in that.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you mean the realization of knowing that their maybe childhoods or whatever is
we're-
just
we're-
altered. They're
right, and he's got a history with his children, and I've got a history with mine, but we're never going to have a history together with children. That's hard.
We try to bring them together, but and we still try to keep. Like I just spent the weekend with my kids because my daughter just graduated from college, and so she's more than welcome to do it. But sometimes it just doesn't work out where she can be, go down there and be kind of like part of that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's just. I've got to do what I got to do to stay connected. So that's just hard.
And then I'm going camping with my kids, and so which is cool. I think that's cool that
because we want to stay connected.
Individual relationships,
Yes.
because I mean he doesn't. We have inside jokes and stuff like
yeah,
that. He doesn't know that.
yeah.
So that's a little bit difficult,
Yeah.
sometimes.
But and I'm just reading between the lines here, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. But it feels like the 2 of you love your marriage. Love this marriage right here.
Yeah.
You love this interaction. You complete each other. This is what you were hoping for the first time around.
Yeah,
didn't
right,
you?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you wish that this could have been the first one. You wish this could have been the original, this original bond with everybody enjoying that.
And growing our history, having at our here we go
Yeah.
at our age, all of our friends have been married for. I mean, you've been married for 20
almost
something.
25.
Yeah,
almost
I mean, and we
25.
have friends that are now celebrating 35 years,
Yeah.
and their kids are growing up and having kids, and
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
we're just starting our history.
Yeah.
So
But I kind of felt the same way. Dennis was in the Navy for the first 5 years of our marriage. And so we were away and kind of just doing this whole different life. And we always tease that we're 5 years behind everybody. We were always 5 years behind everybody because everybody else kept growing up and doing things and getting careers and maybe even homes and all of that. And we come back and it's like, oh yeah, now we start.
Right.
Because we really wasn't a career for us, so it literally was just an experience for 5 years that shaped us and stuff. But so I kind of know what you mean by kind of constantly feeling like you're just not in line with everybody. You're not enjoying that same exact.
Yeah, we kind of had to start over.
Yeah, we did. We're starting over in our 50s, which that's a struggle sometimes, but it's also fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
tell me your vows. We were. Vows at a wedding, they're that tender moment. I feel like, the couples in the room kind of look at each other kind of like in a recommitment for that. But what a vow, I mean, like how much, the meaning of those second time around.
Yeah.
There he goes again.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good.
So,
yeah, that was a happy moment.
Yeah, we, first of all, we loved our pastor that married us. It was David's pastor that had walked through divorce with him, and I had become close with him also. He did our premarital counseling, and what was interesting is that our PA system went out. It was outside, and so nobody that was there could hear what was going on. Okay. So it was like just to us. Yeah, we didn't know any of this was going on, but it was straight out of the Bible. I wanted it as biblical as I mean, it was. We didn't really. I mean, it was traditional. He said something and we repeated. We did that. So we didn't really read.
You didn't write your own.
We didn't write our own vows. No, it was very traditional in that sense. And just.
Well,
the Lord was.
When you're getting married in your early 20s, you're just, to me, it's like you're just going through the motions.
Yeah, you don't really.
You're just getting the day. You're just getting the day over with.
so you can be married.
Yeah.
Well, the girls don't think that.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to enjoy every detail that they've planned.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, like you're saying, all of the and it depends if you do the traditional, sickness and health,
right.
All of those things, and richer and poorer, right?
Right.
If you did the traditional ones, but even personal written ones, you really haven't. You haven't done any of those things yet.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different ball game when it's real because you don't expect it to ever. Well, first of all, typically you don't ever expect it to ever happen. Clearly not in those moments when you're getting married. But then on top of it, the uniqueness in which it hits your marriage, you know, because it's personal.
And Sally and I truly knew that when we were getting married, that God had put us together.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
like, you know, and then when we put our, you know, said our vows, it was like, this is real because God had put us together.
Yeah.
And the guests that were there, that was another whole nother thing. You know, we have
2 lives.
Yeah. And not that a younger couple doesn't have 2 lives, but I mean, this was interesting. And so we just chose to have a smaller, I mean, we have our family alone was like 40, 50
Yeah.
people.
Well, her family.
Yeah. But we chose to just have the people that had walked through what we had walked through to be there and
Right.
that knew us and that had prayed us through and, you know, just really knew the whole intimate story.
Yeah, the real.
Yeah.
Because this is such a. I love that both of you guys took it so serious. And I was just talking with somebody recently, years and years and years ago at North Point. There was a testimony video that we showed, and it wasn't like a North Pointer, it wasn't them, the video we watched, but it was 2 brothers whose dad was an alcoholic, and one became a very successful lawyer, and the other one was an alcoholic as well. And both of them said the same sentence, and that was, well, what would you expect with my dad being an alcoholic, right? And their perspective was, what would you expect? I have to be successful because he was not. That's exactly what I don't want to be. So
Right.
what would you
Right.
expect?
Right.
And on the other one, what would you expect? This is the only example that was given to me. And so I bring that up here just to go like,
Right.
wow, you know, like it's a decision you make
Right.
to see it the way that you need to see it. And
Right.
you committed the second marriage to say, no, I know what this cost me.
Right. Right.
I know what I'm stepping into.
Right.
What would you expect that this would turn out?
Yeah.
That we're really in it.
Yeah.
We're really in this.
Right.
And
So
we-
you have a choice.
You have a
Right.
choice.
And
Yeah.
and there had to be a reason that this all happened. And so Jesus, tell us, what will you have us do with our lives? You know, that what we've been through in our past,
Yeah.
that won't be in vain. Help us
Right.
to, what do we do? You want us to help other
Yeah.
people? You want us
Yeah.
to, what do we do?
Yeah.
And we just start praying, you know, mold us, shape us, tell us what to do.
What I love about both of your stories say you started with the Lord individually on your own, not for the ulterior motive to like, I'm going to do this thing so that I can get married. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
for
no,
the reason
that's
that
real.
I just really
Yeah.
want to
It's
fall
all
in love
about
with
Jesus.
Yeah.
on a whole level that I've never done before. And I have no distractions in life to have that happen now, right?
That's
that I
right,
can't
yeah.
lean in. And that the fruit of that is what we're seeing.
And
here.
very early on in our relationship, even during the dating days, we were very clear about how, you know, what does our future look like, and where can we be used in ministry? And I think we both agreed, it's like, what's that going to look like? We didn't know what that looked like.
Yeah.
You know, where are we going to get plugged in? And
Right.
you know, in the Lord's already in the 5 years, he's kind of leading us down this path.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at first it started with divorce care.
Yeah.
I mean, that was clear. I mean, you know, from day one when somebody brought up that they were looking for a leader, leaders in divorce care, we both looked at each other like, this is it.
Yeah.
You know, and
you
it
know.
took, you know, we went through a short time of doing that for like 3
or 4 years.
yeah, 3 or 4
Wow.
years. And then when, you know, Reengage came up, it was like,
Yeah.
no question. So we kind of see the path that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, and so, but, you know, we both agreed from day one that we were going to get involved in, you know, but we didn't know where that was, or, you know, down what, you know, ministry that meant. But
We just said, we're available.
Lord, use us,
you know?
Final thoughts. What would you say to somebody maybe in a difficult marriage right now? Divorce is not necessarily happening. What would you tell them that they're sitting in that difficult place right now?
Well, I would probably ask a few more questions like, are they on the same page? Because if they're not on the same page, there would be a different answer. But if they're on the same page where they want to save their marriage, but they just have no idea how to do that, then I would direct them to reengage for sure.
Yeah.
yeah. And also to seek help, you know, whether it's from a pastor or just through a friend that's, you know, I mean, of course, North Point would be my, you know, church or church, you know,
involved in
yeah,
a
something
community.
like that. But just don't try to do it alone. You know, there's
you can't do it alone.
you know, you can't. But just to seek help, you know,
So
there's resources out there
absolutely.
that's gonna.
What would you tell somebody right in the midst of divorce right now, right in the midst of it all? Just it's happening. There's not much they can do about it. It is what it is.
Pray and pray and pray for them, and it's a difficult thing. It's hard to give advice to somebody who's resolved in what their next path is. You know, they're done.
Yeah.
All we can do is pray, really. But I would definitely also direct them to divorce care, because that is a ray of hope for people.
Yeah. So through the divorce care program, even though they're going through divorce, there's still hope through that ministry. You know, it doesn't until you've there's reconciliation.
Yes.
You know, I was sorry, I stumbled that word for a second.
We got you.
But you know, there's still hope through that. But
Even after divorce, there's still hope for reconciliation.
Yes.
But Jesus has got to be there.
yeah,
Yes.
Jesus
He
has
is the
got to be
answer.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that really what you feel like the difference between the that's it right there?
Hands
huh?
down.
Yeah,
Hands
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
no matter what you're in,
He's a miracle worker.
divorce or not divorce, you know,
Yeah.
even in just the marriages that seem to be healthy, if Jesus is not there,
Yeah.
you need to get him there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right at the center.
Yep.
That's beautiful. Well, are you guys going to lead the August group as well? You're going to be leaders in the
Yeah.
August group?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Yes.
Get ready to get going.
I love it. There's going to
Yeah.
be there's actually links on this video right now. So if you're watching this video, you can click on the link and you can register. Maybe even end up with Sally and Dave as your
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. This is the big launch. So this is the official one.
Yeah.
We don't know who we're gonna get. It'll be fun.
Maybe it's you.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
want you.
We want you.
We're excited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you so much for just sitting
Yeah.
and
It was
being
fun.
vulnerable and talking about hard stuff. I hope it's an encouragement for anybody listening
Us
or
too.
watching. And, you know, marriage is a choice. Marriage is a difficult thing, but it's also a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it can be even better when you have the Lord at the center of it. And
Yeah,
so-
and if there is anybody that needs help with divorce, we are, even though we're not leading anymore, we are
yeah,
wide
let us know right
open
there.
for.
Let us know right there in the chat. We will get you connected with Sally and Dave.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see
Okay.
you guys throughout the week.
Thank
we'll see you
you.
Sunday.
Thanks for
guys
having
for
us.
joining us. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.